Have the gods, the spirits of ancient times actually returned now to America and to much of the world? And can we actually identify them? Are they right now at work in our midst? What is the Dark Trinity? This is Jonathan Cahn. The Return of the Gods is the latest book I've written, which opens up the mystery of the return of these entities to our world. In the last message, called The Last State, I opened up the warning, the ancient warning, and the test cases we actually have of what happens to any civilization, any culture, any nation that's been delivered by God, by the Word, by the Spirit, by the gospel of these gods, of these spirits, and then turns away from God, empties itself, empties its house of God. What will happen, as we have seen, is a most dangerous thing. The dark spirits cast out of them, called in Hebrew the Shadim, in Greek called the daimonia or demonic, will return to it. The ancient entities will come back to it. It is now happening to America. How would it happen? According to the parable of Messiah, of Jesus, Yeshua, he said, when the house is empty, basically, in the early 1960s, America began emptying itself of God. The house began emptying itself of God's Spirit, removing prayer. Remember the early 60s, removing prayer from the classroom, from the schools. Then the Word. It was emptying itself of God and the Word. Now think, the very thing that had delivered Western civilization from possession. If the house becomes empty, what will happen? Then you're removing your protection. What will happen is what was cast out of Western civilization will return to America and the West. And so it all began like clockwork. A transformation of American culture and the return of these ancient spirits one by one. Which ones? Can we identify them? In the Return of the Gods, I go into detail. I'll give you a clue here. We have a key. The key is Israel. When ancient Israel turned away from God, there came into it three spirits, gods, entities in particular, above the rest, three iconic, archetypical spirits. In the Return of the Gods, I call them the Dark Trinity. They worked in unison to transform Israel from a nation that had known God into a pagan nation, and ultimately brought the destruction of the nation itself. The first entity began the repossession of Israel and is called the possessor, and we'll reveal that. The second followed. It was a goddess. She seduced Israel into immorality, called the enchantress. And the third sealed it all with the darkest of transformations. This one is called the destroyer. And here's the thing. The Dark Trinity has now come to America, each one in order, in the same order of the Bible, in progression, working to transform America and Western culture. And it's been doing it. The possessor to America, the enchantress to America, and the destroyer in America and much of the world for those who are watching around the globe. To possess our culture. And you're dealing with them right now, whether you know it or not. How do you overcome them? This is what the Return of the Gods is going to reveal. And it's everywhere. You can get it wherever there are books, you and for those in your life who need to know. And this is what we're going to be revealing in the next message, the identity of the first of the three principalities now at work transforming and taking over our culture, the possessor. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. This is Jonathan Cahn. I'll see you next time with the mystery of the possessor.